the death of Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And up here on our screens, we have the latest coming. Iran has confirmed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed in the strikes. Iranian state media has confirmed. This is the big breaking coming up this hour. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed. Remember, this comes after Donald Trump had, in fact, put on social media that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed in the strikes. But this is now that Iran has confirmed, the Iranian state media has confirmed that Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has been killed. Earlier in the bulletin, we also told you how the family members of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei were also killed in the airstrikes launched by US and Israel. This is the latest we're getting for you. US and Israel have launched airstrikes against Iran, in which Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed. That was put on social media by US, but it is now that the Iranian state media has confirmed that Supreme Leader Khamenei has been killed. US President Trump earlier had said that it will take Iran several years to recover from this joint US-Israeli attack on the country. US President Donald Trump has accused Iran of backing away from reaching a nuclear deal, saying he understood that Tehran was not seeking an agreement in earnest, and that has what has led to these airstrikes on Iran. So this is the latest we're getting for you from West Asia. The situation in West Asia escalating and getting grave. 40 days of state mourning has been announced in Iran. The state media has confirmed that Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed. 40 days of state mourning has been announced in Iran. So big developments happening in West Asia. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed. These are the visuals, these are the breaking news. This is in fact the breaking news we are getting for you, where Iranian state media has confirmed that Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in the US-Israeli strikes. Earlier, US President and Donald Trump and a senior Israeli official had said that Khamenei had been killed. They put it on social media, but this is the Iranian media that has confirmed that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed, and 40 days of mourning has been announced. To get us more on this, our correspondent Akshay Dongre is joining us. Akshay, so finally we have the confirmation coming in from the Iranian state media that Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed in the US-Israeli strikes on Iran. Now, with this confirmation, how grave is the crisis in West Asia, and how do you see it pan out?
There were apprehensions coming in since Donald Trump claimed that Khamenei has been killed in the airstrikes, along with some other leaders and some of his family members. However, initially, after denying for hours, the Iranian media has finally confirmed that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, has been killed in the Israeli and US airstrikes. And now, a 40-day state mourning has been announced by Iran. As far as the latest news of Khamenei's death is concerned, it does take the entire crisis to another level, because Iran, while the objective of the airstrike was to decapitate the senior leadership, the objective will not be over until unless the entire leadership is wiped out, and that's speaking strictly in terms of state of war. However, several other senior leaders who are supposed to lead Iran, as far as sort of chain of command is concerned, that still remains. Sadiq Larijani is there. Then Khamenei's other heirs that he has named in a sort of a chain of command. So it's a long list of leaders, a long list of people that were supposed to take over in a sort of a descending manner. So until and unless that is done, and there is a change from within Iran, this is going to draw out a much more bloody and much more dangerous conflict now, given the fact that with the death of Khamenei, the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Corps, etc. All of these other forces are going to double down as far as their attacks are concerned against the adversaries. Now, that is one possibility. The second possibility also is. There will be a change from within. There is some insiders who aided in this entire thing and will take over. The third possibility is that the Iranian people will come up with, or some strong Iranian groups will come up with an internal plan to sort of democratize the society and bring about elections to replace the current regime in the country. But the earlier apprehensions that Raza, the son of Shah, will be coming in, and he will be given some sort of power in this vacuum, seems quite unlikely, because even though Khamenei is dead, the sort of mourning and the sort of anti-American sentiment uh, still remains quite strong as far as the Iranian state is concerned, and with this kind of attacks that have forced the regime to change, it has also resulted in a lot of collateral damage, especially the attack on that girls' school, which has led to death of over 100 girls students. All of these memories will remain sharp among the psyche of the Iranian people, and that will be the reason why it will be quite difficult to sort of for the US to place their own people as far as power is concerned. Back to you, Preeti.
All right, Akshay, when we talk of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, then he took over as the supreme leader in 1989. We've just seen how Donald Trump has called him one of the most evil leaders. I would want you to explain to our viewers the rise and fall of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei as the supreme leader of Iran.
Well, Khamenei's rise obviously has been spectacular. Uh, on the lines of, or rather in the backdrop of anti-monarchy sentiments that were there. The Shah of Iran was colored with, who, who was not liked by the people, and in that power vacuum is of Khamenei and the entire leadership that now ruled rather Iran for so many decades now. He was an Iranian cleric and a politician as well. As far as his reign is concerned, he was the second leader, person to hold the position of supreme leader of Iran. He previously served as the president of Iran from 1981 to 1989 as well, and tenure as his tenure as supreme leader spanned of for about 36 years, making him the longest serving head of state in the Middle East. And the longest serving Iranian leader since the Shah Mahmud Raza Pahlavi. He was seen as a cleric. He was seen as a strong political leader. He was seen as somebody who could lead the sort of resurgence of Iran as a state in that part of the world, especially with his long, sort of pursuing of the nuclear weapons and nuclear weapon programs in that region to ensure the state remains untouchable by the adversaries in that part of the world. He also his foreign policy centered on Shia Islamism and exporting also of Iranian revolution. He played a pivotal role in development of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and transforming it into a primary tool for domestic control and regional influence. Uh, there are several instances like these, Apriti, where Khamenei shaped the politics, not just of Iran but of Middle East. Iran supported the axis of resistance coalition in Syrian civil war, in war in Iraq, in Yemen civil war, and Gaza war as well as during Russo-Ukraine war. He was a staunch critic of Israel and of Zionism. Khamenei supported the Palestinian in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. His rhetoric included calls for Israel's destruction as well, and that made him perhaps the biggest enemy of the Israeli state in the region. He was a hardliner, and also there are allegations against him that he sidelined leftist factions, moderate clerics, as well as political dissidents, while occasionally easing restrictions when the regime stability or legitimacy had been threatened. So his duration as the supreme leader has been for quite a long time, about 36 years. One of the longest serving leaders in the entire Middle East, and the way he has handled the entire situation for so many years, and shaping, or rather placing Iran as one of the only countries, one of the only major countries that remained staunch critics of not only Israel but of the US as well in the region, spoke about the lengths Khamenei went as far as sticking to his ideology amid all the other challenges in the region.
All right, Akshay, now that Iran is bereft of its supreme leader, uh, what clout will it have to face US-Israeli strikes? In what position can it retaliate? What force, with what force can Iran maintain, its position against US-Israeli strikes?
Well, it's all about speculation at this point in time, because with the death of Khamenei, yes, obviously it is going to be a major blow to the Iranian leadership. Uh, they will be uh, they will be a sort of headless for a while before the chain of command really takes over, and the sort of person that is designated. I'm sure there is a plan of action that Khamenei would have set, given the hostilities, his old age, that if something happens to Khamenei, who then takes over. So. Sajid Lajani is one of the major names that is circulating as far as the second in command is concerned. But we have seen this in the case of Hamas. We have seen this in case of Hezbollah, that Israel doesn't only go after the head of the organization; it goes after the second head, the third head, the fourth head as well, as long as it doesn't complete its objectives. We can now wait and see that how the present Iranian leadership is to respond, whether they will be able to, sort of re-establish themselves, or whether there will be some change in the government and change in the structure of the government to replace the present form of government in the country. So all that now remains speculation. But if Sajid Larijani and other hardliners still remain in power, and they still decide to avenge the death of Khamenei and the death of other people, then we can expect the war to stretch far further than there was initially anticipated by Israel and the US.
All right. Now that you call it, it is a little too early to contemplate. But then, how do you see the situation further pan out in West Asia? How grave or how serious is the situation with President Trump saying that the strikes will still continue, even though the supreme leader has been killed? Akshay, are you there with us?
Yes. Obviously, Trump is saying that the strikes will continue. He cannot let the pressure of the IRGC and other, chain of command in the government of the sort of regime of Iran, because otherwise it will give time for the Iranian leadership to sort of gather their strength and strike back, because they will have to be persistent to break the spirit of the regime of the Iranian government. So yes, the situation remains grim, but it depends on how US does actually wish on carrying out with the attacks, carrying out with the sort of pressure tactics. But it's as you rightly said, it's all speculation at this point in time. The situation is still grim. And if be it the son of Khamenei, Moshtaba Khamenei, or the deputy of Khamenei, Sajid Larijani, either of these, if they come to power, it is going to be a difficult situation for Israel and the US, because then in that situation there is going to be a retaliation. But the capability of the Iranian state to retaliate also remain limited if you compare them, to the US capabilities as well as the Israeli capabilities, along with other allies that they have in the region.
All right, Akshay, with the region already grappling with Israel-Hamas conflict, we see another, another instance of US-Israel against Iran emerging. You're talking of it being speculation, but then what role can the neighboring countries play here? We've seen Donald Trump talking to other neighboring countries in the region. So could this development have any spillover effect, what kind of a role could the neighboring countries here in West Asia play?
Well, not much, because we have seen the destruction of Libya, the destruction of Syria, destruction of Yemen, destruction of Iraq, of Afghanistan, and there was hardly anything that the neighboring countries did. After the regime changes and after the killing of leaders of these countries, power vacuums were created, and worse players like Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, other terror groups, other proxy groups have taken over, and destruction and killing still continues to this day. While America has wiped off its hands of the crisis and has gone back to its home. US has in fact instigated several of the crises in that part of the world, and that perhaps the reason why the apprehension remains that whether something good will come out of this action in Iran, because you are giving space to the hardliners without sort of any kind of second options, any kind of follow-up plans, any kind of contingency plans. You're just removing the leadership and opening it up for anyone to come and take over, because you hardly care about the people, or the US doesn't really care about the interest of the people. It cares about its own interest, the interest of Israeli state, it being an ally of the US. So there is hardly anything that the neighboring countries can do or will be willing to do, given the fact that nobody want to get involved in somebody else's mess, and it is going to be the Iranian people who will have to rise to the occasion and find the next best option for them.
All right, Akshay, you stay with us. We are at present tracking the developments in West Asia. For our viewers who've just joined in, this is the big breaking news we're getting for you from West Asia. Confirmation coming in from Iranian state media that Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been killed in the US-Israeli strikes. 40 days of state mourning has been announced in Iran. A presenter on Iranian state television confirmed the death of Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei without referring to a massive US and Israeli attack on his residence. A presenter on a state television announced Khamenei's death at 5 a.m., that is 1:30 GMT, as the channel broadcast archive images with a black banner as a sign of mourning. 86-year-old Khamenei has been Iran's supreme leader since 1989. Our correspondent Akshay is there with us, and he has been trying to decode the development for us and help us understand. Now, in the latest, Akshay, Iran has called the strikes unprovoked and illegal. You know, get us more as to, we've seen all this while that Iran has refuted the warnings coming in from West with regard to its nuclear programs. Now, with the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's death, what bearing will it have, on the nuclear program, on the nuclear ambitions of Iran, and also, again, how do you see this issue further pan out? This development
Can you
further
repeat
pan
this
out?
question, Preeti? Can you repeat this question?
Yes, Iran has called these strikes by US and Israel as unprovoked and illegal. And we've seen how repeatedly Iran has refuted the warnings by the West on its nuclear program. Now, with the death of its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, what fallout can it have on Iran's nuclear ambitions? And also, again, to what extent can this development have a bearing on the situation ahead in the next few days?
Well, it again remains a speculation, at this point in time, unless we have a clarity on who takes over from Khamenei. We will have to really monitor the situation in the sense that we will have to see that whether it is the leadership that was planned by Khamenei to resume to you rather assume the leadership, or some other major changes in the government structure takes place, and only after that we can anticipate the future of the Iranian regime. Because if the leaders who were named by Khamenei and other IRG top IRG's leadership, if they come to power, then there is going to be a lull at this point in time. However, there is going to be a resurgence again of the sort of attacks against Israel, or sort of revenge, in the sense that Iran will continue its nuclear ambitions once again, if not now, maybe in future, and it will be relentless, especially after this kind of attack that was carried out by the US and Israel against the country and the leadership. But if not, if there is a change, then we can expect that the new leadership and the new style of the government will obviously not want to get involved in something that has led that or rather led its predecessor to be killed. We'll have to wait and watch, but the situation remains grim at this point in time, because the top leadership is not wiped out yet, and the situation still remains critical for the world to see and anticipate on what is happening now.
All right, Akshay. Also, what will be the fallout for the markets across the world, with that have already been grappling with uncertainty given the previous geopolitical situation and the changes which have been witnessed with this development? How do we see the markets, react, or what bearing will it have on the markets ahead?
Well, obviously there is going to be a certain uh, 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 shock to the market, but it's for country like India, the stock market will be closed today. It's Sunday. They open on Monday, and as far as the initial reaction is concerned, it's going to be of quite a significant drop in the oil market, in other areas as well, until and unless there is a clarity. But you can if this cloud of war that has been there for so many decades now, if there is a positive outcome of all of this, if there is a change in the Iranian regime that is more pro-US, more pro-Israel, and that a regime that comes in and says that the sort of animosity that was there during the time of Khamenei doesn't have to remain, and they sort of agree to accept a sort of peace terms and not pursue nuclear ambitions. Then it can have a really long-term good impact on the markets, because then one of the most longest rather sort of uh, uh, war, or we can call it sort of two countries challenging each other every once in a while, every now and then, and the situation coming close to war every year or two. That threat goes forever. And we can see that finally there can be some positive outcomes of this as well, if there is a pro-Israel government, pro-US government that takes over in Iran, as opposed to the present regime that is there. So the markets can also show positive results, but that is going to take quite a long time from now.
All right, Akshay, US President has said that the strikes will continue. At the same time, Iran, the Iranian guards have vowed severe punishment for these strikes and for Khamenei's murderers. We know that this will not just be a 12-day war. What is it that the US President is hoping to achieve, as he says that the strikes will continue in the near future as well? Akshay, am I audible? I think we've lost contact with Akshay there. We'll try getting back to him again, but he was decoding and analyzing for us the current situation in West Asia, which has got a grave with the US and Israel striking, launching airstrikes against against Iran, and which has resulted in the killing of Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. It's a very big development that has been coming in from West Asia, and Iranian media has also confirmed the killing of Khamenei at his residence. Khamenei was killed in the early hours of Saturday, says the state media. Also, the family members of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei have been killed in the strikes. Iran calls the strikes unprovoked and illegal. At the same time, US President Donald Trump has vowed that the strikes will continue. At the same time, he has called Khamenei one of the most evil leaders. At the same time, the Iranian state media has announced 40 days of state mourning. And today, finally, Iranian media has broken its silence on Khamenei's death. Iranian media has confirmed Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's death in the airstrikes by US and Israel. Khamenei was killed at his office, says the Iranian state media. This is the big development coming in from West Asia. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, 86 years of age, has been killed in US-Israel strikes. This has been confirmed by the Iranian state media.